Welcome in, everybody, to a new episode of the Wisemen Say podcast, powered by, I cannot say powered by Yamo Media. Jesus Christ. Another episode of the Wisemen Say podcast. Ty Fisher alongside Jerald Lucas, Derik Abbott. Fellas, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic.
I wish I'd be fantastic because I get this rundown opened up. Jesus Christ. Weekend go well, I would assume, hopefully.
Yes.
Of course.
Eventful?
Uneventful.
Uneventful. Gotcha.
Which is for January.
Yeah. I was sick over the weekend. So that was
good.
Oh my gosh. I was down for the count. I think it was Saturday into Sunday with a 101.3 fever.
Jesus.
Oh my.
I laid down at 6:15 to take a nap. Woke up at 9. Took my temperature, it was 101.3. Took some meds, laid back down, woke up at 3:30 in the morning. Absolutely shit-faced, pretty much. I was done for. Thankfully, I was just absolutely sucking down cough drops, meds, and shit like that. All I have now is just I have very bad allergies, and congestion is just absolutely horrible.
Oh, I feel like the time of the year has been bad.
What's that?
Sound like Darth Vader.
Dude, I was horrible. But I mean, it was all right, I guess. But thankfully, I got better enough that I could make my interview at Topgolf. So I was like, I need to be better for Monday. I need to do this. And I was. I felt fine and got the job, so I'm good now. So anybody wants to come out to Topgolf and see me, by all means, come out. After
Remember, do it sober.
Yeah, please. I do not want to kick you guys out. Not too much of a big show today. A couple of MLS things to talk about. Some crew news, crew 2 news also. We'll be getting into that here in a little bit. Derik, we'll probably just get your thoughts maybe on some of the MLS stuff that we see. And then crew will be the biggest one that we all three pretty much talk about. Starting off, Jerald, we have get the banner up. There we go. Mateusz Bogusz from LAFC joining Cruz Azul for $10 million, 20 goals in 48 games across all competitions. The second leading scorer behind Denny Bouanga joined LAFC in March 2023 from Leeds United. In 2 seasons, he has scored 24 goals in 90 games. Jerald, LAFC is falling down, I guess.
I mean, they are. It's just, like another team we'll touch on in a little bit. The crew broke them. 2 finals and you can't get over the hump. You have to beat a lesser team of talent, in the Open Cup to win a trophy. But you could tell that between MLS Cup 2023 and the Leagues Cup final last year, Bogusz wasn't really happy with his role. Get over, he seems like, I'm going to call him, he's a prima donna. And because he wants that attention. He wants that look at me, look at me, look at me. And when you have Bouanga out there and then you bring in what's his name late in the season, Giroud, you bring him in, now he's like the back burner.
Yeah.
So he wanted out. And I saw LAFC boards and them bashing him, and I mean, you can't really bash a man that wants out.
Yeah.
And Cherundolo, I think he's on his way out of there. because the system that he's running, people caught up to.
Yeah.
And it's not really that magical anymore.
Derik, from what I know, you watched the 5-1 win over LAFC last year. I probably would assume that you also saw the 3-1 Leagues Cup win over LAFC last year.
Yes.
If you watched any of Bogusz, what did you think about him? What did you like, not like?
No, I mean, I would agree too. I think he slowly just kind of started to disappear after a while. Like you could just tell, sometimes you see players that if they aren't happy with their position and stuff, it inevitably affects the play where they just don't seem as engaged after a while. And I think in both games, you could start to see that with this team that at one point was gelling like crazy. I mean, they were hitting, what was it, 3 finals in a year, and even though they didn't win them, I mean, they were playing great that entire season as a well-oiled machine. And when you start bringing in new people, I think if you have somebody who's, not content with their role anymore, inevitably they just kind of fade away. They're not putting in that extra effort anymore because he was probably trying to get out, and that's what probably sparked all this in the first place, which... I know, weirdly, I was thinking about this today. It seems very reminiscent to me of what went on with Atlanta after a few years when they were running really high and playing really well. And then these guys just started to jettison out to other teams. And there's always a money factor involved when you can get a lot of money for somebody to send them overseas. But I think a lot of that also has to do with you just have to reset after a while with everybody in those teams, not our team, I think, or others out there, but they remind me of an Atlanta of the West at this point.
Yeah.
Refresh my mind, but didn't Giakoumakis go to Cruz Azul last year?
Yeah, Georgios Giakoumakis went to Cruz
for
Azul.
His knee.
Yeah, and then I can't remember if he's still there. I think he is. Yeah,
I mean, that's a deadly combination right there. If he's healthy and those two together. But it's also too, like I was touching about Cherundolo's system out there in LAFC, and the stars that they brought in.
Yeah,
look at Philly. Look what Jim Curtin. Jim Curtin had built a powerhouse team there. Granted, I don't think they didn't win a cup, which I think that would have saved his job if he would have had, at least one cup under his belt.
Yeah.
But he was very close.
Yeah. And he was building, a powerhouse out there, but then the league starts catching up to you with your systems.
Yeah.
Whether your defensive tactics or your offensive tactics. And so they start figuring you out. And then now you see Philly, started dropping down. It's going to be the same way with LAFC. You got Bouanga and you got Jerald. You got, you got some young talent out there, but the West has figured out their style. So has, Columbus. So, I mean, it's just one of those, it's like, it's a matter of time. And when you start to see LAFC not up there in like the top 2, top 3, and you start seeing them at the middle of the pack, look for them to, look for the seat to start heating up.
Mm-hmm.
And if not by the end of the season, if they don't, I'll tell you this, if they don't make the playoffs, or if they make the playoffs as a low seed, Cherundolo will be gone.
Weirdly, too, like with Philly and them, those are like great correlations, and it makes me think. I don't know if it's related whatsoever, but like both those head coaches for a while were like associated potentially with like future men's national team coaches. I don't know if that's anything to do with it, but perhaps in both cases, maybe those coaches were kind of taking their eye off the ball because they were more focused on maybe getting that role or maybe starting to play, players a little bit differently to try to jockey for that a little bit. And neither of them ended up with it. But I don't know, it just got me thinking for a second, like the weird kind of connection there that maybe that ends up, having to do something with it also.
I think see with Bogusz leaving, everybody's like, oh, okay, we offloaded one of our high players. Now we're dead set on Antoine Griezmann, right? But I'm thinking Olivier Giroud really hasn't contributed much since he's been in MLS. I talked to Ivan, I think it was last week, the LAFC guy, about Yao Yabo, and we were talking about Hugo Lloris also. Granted, he's a keeper. He was like, he's been an iffy signing. He was an iffy signing. Giroud, he thinks Giroud's a bust. I mean, you go from French national team every 4 years for World Cup to now he hasn't even scored a league goal yet, or has he? I don't think he has. Hasn't scored a league goal to his name, as far as I know, I should say.
That's wild.
To that, it's like, what is happening? And you think that Cherundolo, who made MLS Cup final against Philadelphia, made MLS Cup final against the Columbus Crew, made the Open Cup final, Leagues Cup final, you would think this guy that has a championship pedigree and has great experience under his belt would think that you don't need to go for all the shiny, flashy players that are getting up there in age. You want to go for somebody who can score a goal. Bogusz was your guy alongside Bouanga scoring goals. And it's like, that's why I asked Jerald, is LAFC falling down? Because I know Bouanga's frustrated a little bit. Bogusz is gone.
Vela's gone.
Vela's back. Vela's back. He signed another year.
Did he?
But yeah, he signed another year with LAFC. Yeah. He came back, barely played. Granted, it was at the end of the season. I don't think he's going to get time back in the starting 11. They're about to, I think they're offloading Kike Oliveira also. It's like, what is happening? Is it did Toronto lose the locker room or something? Or are these guys just like done for with LAFC because they're not getting any quality players? They're getting quality players, but they're not performing really well.
So I think with Giroud, now I'm not sticking up for him, guys. I'm not. But when you have somebody come over from Europe, especially like the French leagues, right? MLS is a different beast. And Nazi sort of touched on it today at training about Dylan Chambos. That, Chambos did, struggled, when he came over here. He's, because it's MLS is totally different, right?
Yeah.
So you put Chambos and Giroud in the same boat, two French players coming from France, and they're struggling, right? They're struggling, at first, but now you got a full season now. You got the off season, you got you have the short off season, but now you have a full season, to finish getting up to speed with MLS.
Yeah.
And and I think from our French player Dylan Chambos, I know we're gonna see great production. I just think it Giroud just needed time, because look when he came in. It was like September, wasn't it? Late August, early September.
It was during that summer window.
Yeah, so I mean, he had originally agreed to everything back in like the spring, but waited for his season. Well, that, and he waited for his season to end, and the season ended, and then next thing he comes over. So I mean, it's just one of those things. Like it takes time coming over from Europe to MLS versus MLS going over to Europe.
Yeah.
So look for maybe a little more production. But I really think that we're seeing the downfall of LAFC as a giant out west.
And the Galaxy on the rise too, so that's might drive some of the LA fandom back that way, depending on how you look at. I don't know how their fandom, I know how diehard their fans are, but
oh man, it's like it reminds me so much of how like the Crew in Cincinnati were when Cincinnati joined the league, and Crew fans that were traveling from Cincinnati jumped ship to Cincinnati and are all diehard orange and blue now. But then it's like Crews are like winning trophies, and Cincinnati hasn't won anything except the Supporter Shield. It's like it's like one of those things. Like when LAFC came about, LA Galaxy fans jumped on the bandwagon for LAFC and are all, I've been black and gold since the inception. I've been orange and blue since the inception. My friend, you were just here last week wearing black and gold, supporting the Columbus Crew. What are you doing?
Hey, we got trophies that hold infants.
Correct.
Yeah. Fact.
Josh Black, watching from across the pond in Scotland. Exciting times for the Crew to do well to keep a hold of Nancy. There's eyes on him in Europe. We hope not. I mean, we obviously know that there are eyes on him in Europe, but we hope that he stays at least another year or so. Josh,
shout out. We got Scotland in the house.
Yeah, Josh, hit me up. If you guys haven't seen already, I'll share it out again. Josh did a thread on AZ Jackson. He talked to me a little bit about AZ Jackson. He also posted one a couple of days ago about Patrick Schulte. So he's getting Crew news over there in Scotland and whatnot. So my only downfall with him is that he's a Rangers guy, but I can bypass that and say that Josh is a good guy. Connor, what's up? Good looking fellas. Connor, how are you, man? Next up, I think this is the last one I had on the rundown. Former Sounders defender Kim Ki-hee re-signs with the team for the 2025 season with an option of 2026. Spent last 5 seasons with Ulsan HD FC in the K-League 1. Returns to Seattle after spending a 2018-19 season with them. Played in 66 games across all competitions and helped the Sounders win the 2019 MLS Cup. I'm not going to ask you guys about this because that was so long ago. But Sounders also making moves. Brian Schmetzer still at the helm of.
It's wild. He's beating all the odds because the coaches do not stick around that long typically.
No, he is. He's. I mean, great guy to talk to, but just when you thought Seattle were down in the dumps last year, they somehow do something really well and just absolutely claim a spot in the final of the U.S. Open Cup, and Schmetzer keeps his job.
Jordan Morris.
Yeah, pretty much. That's that.
They're just like a team that you can never like count out or forget about because they're always around.
Connor says, I'm interested to know if we got a little UK fan base, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I think so. I'm just not quite sure. So,
hey, we got Burrow fans that watch.
Oh, really?
You know, I mean, they started, exactly. I take it.
Derik, I don't know if you know, but there's he pops in once every like 16 episodes. I can't remember his name, but there is a Pachuca fan.
Oh my god.
Oh no, please no.
Yeah.
There's a Pachuca fan that pops in every once in a while, and you'll just see Tuzos in the chat. It's absolutely hilarious.
It really is. I mean, yeah. It's funny, and we know when he's here, like we know he's watching. Like
you'll just see Tuzos in like the Pachuca colors. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he means well,
right?
But it was so funny. I think it was during our episode before the Champions Cup final that happened. And it was like, oh, there's a Pachuca fan in the chat. Oh my god!
Even during Leagues Cup.
Yeah, even during league
He
schedules.
Oh,
came in
man.
during league.
Yeah. It's like,
Love the
Jesus
commitment.
Christ. But good.
No, good.
No, go ahead.
I thought we were done with that segment, but I was going to add something. But
No, go ahead.
as far as the Sounders goes, that's it. It's amazing when you can pull something out of your ass that you still keep a job. I mean, just look at Peter Vermees.
Oh my God. You want to talk about a guy who's been doing it forever. That guy has been around since the Ice Age. Honestly. Like, golly. That guy, yeah, Peter Vermees just absolutely does some voodoo type stuff with Sporting Kansas City. And then he just, I want to get Kevin on here. He's like, what does Peter Vermees do that lets him keep a job? Honestly, I bet I'm gonna reach out to Kevin and I'm like, hey, I want to talk to you about Peter Vermees and what does he do to keep a job?
So we just got this though from Josh.
Okay.
Jason Russell Rose name being mentioned with the dark side of Glasgow as a replacement for Kyogo, who they just sold.
He's talking about Celtic.
Yeah.
He's talking about Celtic. Hey, come on, Josh. I mean, honestly, I haven't heard anything. I would assume it's probably just in interest stage at this point. But you think about the competition that the Columbus Crew have at forward, right? Rossi, Hernandez, Ramirez, Jason, who else?
I mean, Dylan's listed as a forward, so is AZ.
Yeah, Dylan, AZ,
yeah.
like people who can play like these positions. You think of the competition, and it's like, where can we fit all these guys in at the same time? I think that will be something to keep an eye out on, especially with the summer window comes up really fast, honestly. So it's something to keep an eye out on. I honestly wouldn't be surprised because he definitely has talent. Good. If you want to say something, Jerald.
It definitely has talent. Working on being more consistent. You know, it's his third year under Nancy, so Nancy's really getting the best out of him. You know, during training and everything, and even in games. Hell, Kucha said there was on that one where he just scored his second goal, and he could have had the hat trick, but Jason was right there, and he was like, he sent the pass over to him, and it was a 2v1 with the keeper, and he called Jason a killer.
Yeah,
I mean,
he kind of went on a little mini tear during that kind of run right there.
Yeah, I love Jason. He's such a good kid. Definitely one to kind of make a spark out of nowhere with the touch, turns, shots, stuff like that. Connor says, one thing I picked up on Nancy's presser today is that he said AZ and Shambo will be treated like new players. I would like to see them have a breakout year this year. Do you think Shambo is more of a forward player or as the 10 next to Nagby? So I think of Shambo more as a forward. I would say maybe a hybrid, A-10 player, but I think more so leaning more towards the 8 position, because if you look at all the 10s in the history of the Columbus Crew, who do we have? Lucas. We had Higuain, which we'll get to later. Scalotto, GBS. I think he's a what?
A who's who of 10s.
Yeah, like I think of them being a playmaker type 10, where Dylan probably is a playmaker, but I think he's more. I think he's a little bit more he's a little bit too conservative to kind of be outgoing in that sense. But like I said, that's just my take. But as we move on, I can't remember when this was announced. I think it was yesterday or today. The MLS club competitions have been announced, and we are in the Leagues Cup as far as the senior team goes. However, Columbus Crew 2, the Capybaras, will be playing in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. As you can see here, 10 participants for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. We are also in CONCACAF Champions Cup as the Leagues Cup champions. FC Cincinnati, Colorado Rapids. I was about to say Denver, Colorado. Colorado Rapids, Columbus Crew, LAFC, LA Galaxy, Inter Miami, Real Salt Lake, Seattle Sounders, Sporting Kansas City, Vancouver Whitecaps. Leagues Cup, Atlanta United, Charlotte FC, FC Cincinnati, Colorado Rapids, Columbus Crew, Houston Dynamo, both LA teams, Inter Miami, Minnesota, Montreal, New York City, New York Red Bulls, Orlando City, Portland Timbers, Real Salt Lake, San Diego jumps in, and Seattle Sounders. Lamar Hunt Open Cup, Austin FC, Charlotte, Chicago, FC Dallas, United, DC United, Houston, Minnesota, Nashville, New England Revolution, New York City, New York Red Bulls, Orlando, Philadelphia, Portland, San Jose, and St. Louis, with LAFC, Inter Miami, Sporting Kansas City also being in the MLS Next Pro side of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And then obviously the 3 Canadian teams participating in the Canadian Championship. My question to you boys, are you upset that the Columbus Crew first team, specifically the first team, is not in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup? And why? Why not?
I'll let you go, Derek.
No, I'm not upset about it. I think at one point I may have been more upset about it, but at this point we're in these other competitions, and I mean, it's been good because our second team has actually been pretty good. So I like our chances of still doing well even with the second team. And I don't know. I've always wanted us to win the US Open Cup, but I guess like even when I got into the fandom, it wasn't like the be all end all for me. I wasn't, there is some like day one fans and stuff who hold that in the highest regard, which I totally respect. But for me, it's never resonated quite like winning, the MLS Cup or these other ones now, Leagues Cup. I could take it or leave probably, but a trophy is a trophy. But I also think, and we'll get to it, but the chance to see Federico Higuain potentially hoist a championship with the Columbus Crew, whether it's the first team or the second team, gives me immense amount of joy. So I am totally down for it.
Jerald?
Yes and no.
Okay. Why? Why not?
So, no, because of the busy schedule already for the first team. I'm not mad.
Okay.
I really think that with them trimming down Leagues Cup to where now it's the top 9 out of the East, top 9 out of the West go instead of all MLS teams are in Leagues Cup. You shorten the tournament down some because based on how many teams are in there, right? That open up more chances for teams to play in the Open Cup. Now, do I believe all MLS teams should be in the Open Cup? Yes, I really do. I think Tom said it too. I think Tom Bogert said it. I think a few other high profile names have said that they believe that all MLS teams should be in the U.S. Open Cup. I agree. I hear people saying Leagues Cup should be cut. I like the fact that the first through 4 in Leagues Cup gets a berth into CONCACAF. It's a way to get into a bigger tournament that carries more prestige than what Leagues Cup is, right? And so I agree keeping that. I like how they trimmed it down. Now, I'm actually going to change it from yes and no to I'm not mad, because the fact that we get to see U.S. Open Cup soccer at historical Crew Stadium once again in the house that Lamar Hunt built, and there's a potential Austin FC can come up here and play Crew too.
Wouldn't that be something?
I mean,
that I think that's what everybody's hoping for.
They may sell that out. They may sell out the stadium for that, since their first team is never going to come up here. Honestly,
they might put bleachers in where the stage is.
Oh, that's been that's been so long ago. Oh my!
Now the thing is though, because that would be such a big match, would they move it to lower.com field?
I could see that.
It also all depends though on schedule though. The championship game, does the first team have a home game?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it all depends, right, on the schedule of when the championship game is, what the schedule's looking like. But I think Crew 2 I think they would fight to have it at historical Crew Stadium for, say Austin and Crew 2 get to the final and it's hosted here in Columbus. I think you would have a better draw having it at historical Crew than you would at lower.com. And the reason I say that is because the historical significance of the U.S. Open Cup, Columbus versus Austin, you could probably easily get 22,000 at lower.com. But it to me, it wouldn't feel right. Somebody that's been following the team since 96 and even 94 when they were introduced, Columbus was announced to have the first team, was getting the first team in MLS. To me, the significance of a championship game in Open Cup being played at historical Crew is more important than playing at lower.com.
I like that. The story writes itself too. You could advertise that they would get a lot more. I don't know.
And even if it's not against Austin, a championship game at historical Crew Stadium in the U.S. Open Cup.
Oh yeah.
You have a chance to add your name to history. And for it being the young academy kids, they're going to get the full support of the first team, getting ready for that tournament.
Oh my God. Yo, Tommy is a character. Derik, this is Tommy. He's one of our friends over at Scarves and Spikes and a Atlanta United podcast. He lives in Cleveland though. So
come on, Tommy. What?
He lives in Cleveland.
Duck fan.
Yeah, he's also an Oregon Duck fan too.
Oh.
So
Ty's a Gator fan, so
I am a Gator fan. I think for me at least, I'm okay with not playing Open Cup with the first team. Mainly because again, Jerald, as I think both of you guys said it actually, the schedule with these guys. However, you have teams that played both Leagues Cup and CONCACAF and Open Cup. I think LAFC did all three pretty much. But at the same time, with what we did last year, with making the CONCACAF Champions Cup final, winning Leagues Cup, and stuff like that, and also having that match against Aston Villa, I think the way that and Tommy mentioned it, the way that the way that it's being played right now it's a disaster, right? I did go through the State of the Union State of the Union, no, is it State of the League address from Don Garber. And he did mention that there were going to be more teams playing Open Cup, but obviously didn't say which ones. Each individual team came out and said it. But it's a lot of people are saying that the Crew not playing is a disgrace because it's a knock on Lamar Hunt founding this team and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of want to have an episode like to where we have people who want the team to play in leagues, people who want the team to play in Open Cup, and people who don't mind not playing in Open Cup, just kind of duke it out on the show one time. I don't know. But I think with the way that the Crew are now, adding 8 games is a little unnecessary because we're thinking 2-3 games a week, pretty much, and that's north of 80 games right there. I think we played north of 60 last year, north of 80 of this year if the Crew played Open Cup and CONCACAF and Leagues Cup. It's just you don't want that to happen, and it's also I hate to be this guy, but I kind of understand where Garber was coming from when he said there was like no eyes on the Open Cup tournament. Because Jerald, what game it was? Indy 11 when my laptop got smashed in the window in the press box. I think the attendance was like 3,000 people on a Wednesday night.
It was 11,000.
Okay, 11,000 on a Wednesday night against Indy 11. I mean, I get it's a school night, but the marketing for Open Cup is like it's non-existent. You get the teams that hey, Open Cup match day, or throw deals out there. It's mainly the USL teams or the lower teams that throw out deals. Hey, come to this game, get 10% off the next home match or whatever. They throw deals out there, but then you get MLS clubs. They don't do any marketing whatsoever. So I think the marketing scheme needs to change for them to get more eyes on this tournament. But I can see why people are upset, especially Crew fans, because the team is not in this tournament. That's just me. And this is another thing. US Soccer needs to promote their tournament. US Soccer is they're
too busy building the new facility down there in Atlanta.
It's not even that though. It's not even US Soccer is, how can I put this nicely? US Soccer is one big
conglomerate.
No,
I was just gonna say conglomerate.
Okay, yeah, we'll use that. Is one big conglomerate that just sits back and watches the world burn without doing anything to help it.
So
right?
Like Winston Churchill did when Germany invaded London. He sat in his bunker televising on the radio, smoking his cigar with his brandy while they're dropping bombs on London and it's burning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, so what now? So if we go from the top, what at the top needs to change for people to get excited about the US Open Cup happening during a weekday where kids have to get up the next morning and go to school, or adults have to get up the next morning and go to work, whether it's 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning? What is it that the top can do to make sure that this tournament is promoted correctly and appropriately, that would have more than 11,000 butts in a seat, would have more than a couple hundred viewers on YouTube, on a YouTube live stream, to go from that to a couple thousand more or a couple 100,000. What can the clubs do to turn 11,000 seats into 21,000 or 7,000 on the live stream to like 25,000? It just seems like the top is doing nothing, and without the resources that the top is feeding down, everybody else is just stuck twiddling their thumbs like, well, all our marketing budget is done for the year because we have CONCACAF Champions Cup, Leagues Cup, 17 home matches. What else are we going to use marketing budget wise? I mean, I bet half the marketing budget got spent for the match in Cleveland for Columbus, Miami. I'm just please, crew, if you're watching this, I love you guys. I really do. I'm just talking to you. But I just think the top needs to kind of help out a little bit, and as Connor said, just promote their tournament instead of just sitting back and doing nothing. Josh says, love to see more American players make the move across to Europe. There's going to be plenty more, I would have bet. Connor said they should do the English model for the Open Cup, have a weekend where all league play is paused, and have the Open Cup games like in the FA Cup. I can get behind that because I know FA Cup games are on the weekends. When there's that's fine. If they do it like that, I don't think teams would have a problem with that. But then again, it's like, why are we pausing our regular season for Open Cup if we're already pausing our season for Leagues Cup?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, well, if we're going to pause it for this, why should we pause it for this?
Yeah.
Instead of just having it all run together, which is why I think that U.S. soccer should change the schedule. This is just me again talking to a winter spring format instead of a what is this? Is this summer fall? Is this summer fall format?
Spring, summer, fall, whatever.
Yeah, to go August. They should go by the European calendar. We'll just say that. That's just my opinion. I'm off my soapbox. If any of you guys have anything else to add before we move into Columbus Crew News.
I actually do. Connor had a comment here. So if the Cappies make the final, do they go in the CCC as the first team stand-in, or will they go in as the U.S. Open Cup winners on their own? That's
tough. That's tough.
Because they win it all, right? Look at the scenario. They win it all. Say Columbus wins Leagues Cup again, or wins, MLS
Cup. I win MLS Cup.
You win MLS Cup or Leagues Cup, right? You're right back in CONCACAF.
You're right back to the round of 16 also.
Yeah. So how do you, and if Open Cup champion is Crew 2, what do?
So I think that this is hypothetical. I think they would go in as their own.
I hope it happens.
You and me both.
I hope the chaos.
All three of us.
I hope the chaos happens like that.
I think they'd go in as their own because, well, see then, but can you have two representatives of the same organization playing? They do have. There are. Hell, let's just look at it again.
Wasn't there something with, I could be totally off on this, on the Champions Cup where like there was an owner who owns two teams and he could only pick one? Or am I totally off on that? I thought I read that somewhere.
No, I think you're
Maybe it
right.
wasn't for any of these tournaments. It could have been something totally different.
That was
but I thought I
for
read that.
Club World Cup.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
And he had to choose one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I mean, it's just a crazy scenario right there.
So for some reason, I thought that Atlanta United had their second team playing in the Open Cup as well as the first team, but I'm definitely not seeing that at all.
No, Tommy from Scarves and Spikes and or Stripes.
Scarves and Spikes.
Yeah, Scarves Spikes, but yeah. And I think also Tyler Pilgrim from the same show both posted something about that, how Atlanta United Atlanta United's first team are in the Open Cup, that they're not in there. So, Atlanta fans are very upset that they're only participating in Leagues Cup and not also in Open Cup, since they only have one tournament.
Why is that?
That beats the hell out of me.
That seems kind of odd.
It does. I think it's also, well, I know Leagues Cup was based off of where you finished in the season, but I'm wondering why they didn't get a chance to go for the Open Cup.
Yeah. I don't get that.
Owners, man. I'm telling you, man. Owners, man. They want the most eyes on the team that they're going to lose to, and it's probably going to be Columbus. Now moving on to Columbus. Marino Hinestroza. Finally, I shouldn't say finally, but Marino Hinestroza has been transferred from the club to Nacional for an undisclosed fee. My guess is 1.5 million, but I don't know. I was really hoping for him to have a breakout year this year.
I'm bummed because we saw flashes of him. And especially his goal against Nashville to end up with a draw, considering everything that Columbus went through in that game with being beat on by Leal and everybody else.
Oh, yeah. That was the bicycle kick one before bicycle kick goal from Nashville before halftime.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm bummed because we saw flashes throughout the year before he was loaned out that, he has something here. And, I was hoping after the loan that when they said that, he's coming back to the team, I'm like, this is going to be exciting for the offseason and training camp. And now he's back with, the team we loaned him out to. And it's just like, well, fuck. You know what I mean? But then again, it's also a crowded forward room as well. You got, Cucho, Diego, you got Christian, you got Jason, you got AZ, you got Dylan, you got, you would have had Marina, Hinestroza. So, I mean, it's just like Ty said, how the hell, where the hell are you going to put all these guys in for playing time?
Yeah.
I mean, with all the games that we have, yes, having that added depth there for that group is great, but you become unhappy when you're not getting minutes. So.
Yeah.
That's what I think probably kind of happened, is that he probably was getting more minutes overseas and just, I don't want to say saw the writing on the wall, because I think he would have gotten minutes here too, but I think he just got a taste of it over there. And I could easily see a scenario in where he came back over here and was like, I want to be back over there. Like, I would rather at this point mesh with them and keep what I have going over there. And they probably saw the scenario where, we might not be able to give you as many minutes as you would get over there. And maybe it's just best for everybody, at least for now, and maybe in the future come back. That'd be nice.
MLS gone wild. Where do you think Hinestroza would have been on the depth chart? I don't know that he was a great stylistic fit one of, if not the only signings that hasn't worked out since Nazi started. I mean,
or fifth.
well, fourth, I would have said third, because you think what was he, left or right?
Left.
So I'm thinking probably third, right? Because you have Max, you would have. Are we still? Are we? No, because Yao's already gone. We have
Lassie, Max.
Thank you.
Mo,
that's what I'm thinking
Dewan.
of. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm thinking third. Max, Dewan, Hinoshoza. Right? On that side alone. I think that is the only signing that hasn't worked out since Nazi started. And I think that's a testament to how strict or tedious Nazi system is, right? Yeah, he had flair, he had speed, but I think it's also more so of, I wouldn't say accountability. I think it's more so of how well can you do in critical situations where your critical thinking skills need to come into play, right? I mean, I can't remember who I was arguing with on Twitter, and I by the way, Derik, if you do not find yourself down that rabbit hole of arguing with Crew fans,
I know
it is absolutely a mess.
We're only a few weeks away from all the Crew fans just battling each other, and then the season is starting.
I think it's like we saw it during the LAFC match, the 5-1 win, when he got a red card, and it was like, he got a red card because he made one of his stupid boneheaded decisions that he always done. I'm like, I can't remember what was said, but I'm like, you say that like he's gotten a red card before when he hasn't. Like hasn't made any decision. I mean, he was provoked. Yeah. Did he have to lash out? Not really. But I mean, if I'm provoked by some sort, instinct is flight or fight mode, and it's normally the latter. So, and I'm like, you say that like he's gotten a red card like every other match he's played. Like, relax. It's a boneheaded decision. Yeah, but I mean, cut the guy some slack. I can't remember who I was talking to. But I think it's more so, like I said, critical situations. Can your critical thinking skills come into play, and are they going to be a nuisance, or are they going to be helpful for the team to where we can pull out this win, end up with a draw, or come from behind and steal a point somehow, some way in the dying embers of the match? And it's good business to realize it wasn't a fit and cut ties sooner rather than later. I'm sure we flip the profit as well. Interested in where we reinvest.
Hopefully, Pucho in the contract extension.
Definitely, I think that is where I would reinvest, because I don't mind. Hot take. I'm okay with the Crew being quiet this transfer window. That's just me.
Agree.
Because my number one priority is getting this man signed to a new contract. Just seemed like Hinoshoza had an attitude problem when he was here. I wouldn't say he had an attitude problem. I just don't think
he's young.
I think, he's 22?
I think so.
22, 23, maybe. I don't know. I could be absolutely.
You're older than he is.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm older than half the team. He's 22. We're all older than like 3/4 of the team.
Jeez,
and it's weird to say that. As a 28-year-old, it's weird to say that I'm older. I'm older than Diego Rossi. I'm older than Cucho Hernandez, and I am not happy about it. He's 22. I don't think it was an attitude problem. I just think it was more so of
being young.
Damn. I don't think I was expecting all of this to because Nancy is one of those guys that he pulls the best out of players, and he challenges these guys every day at practice to give a little bit more, to give more than what they did yesterday. And I don't think he was ready. I mean, he might have been ready for it, but I don't think he was ready for how like quick paced, how hard that they are on the guys in training because he's young. Now, if he was probably in his prime, 25, 26, 27, yeah, I think he'd be doing cartwheels around some of these guys. He might even be starting. But because he's young, I think it's more so of, damn, I wasn't expecting this. I think I might need to I think I need to build up a little bit more of the tactical side of this. Then I'll be ready to make an impact somewhere else to where, yeah, I can get constant minutes. I can do all of these things. All right, guys, so surprised Alex Matan still doesn't have a club. I was like, he was a clever little player. I actually am surprised he doesn't have a club yet. I
didn't realize he didn't. I would have thought that he would have signed with somebody relatively quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not going to be New England. I'll tell you that much right now. Jesus Christ. I am a little bit surprised. I would have liked to see Matan back in Columbus, but again, it's one of those things where, do we want to have Matan sit on the bench for a while, long time, or do we want him to kind of spread his wings and get his minutes on his own somewhere else to where he can make an impact somewhere and help another team? We developed him as much as we could. Now it's time to let the little birdie fly.
Fly away.
Fly.
Maybe in the fur holder.
Chicago. I mean, I could see it. Prevents me after anyone who will just listen back when look back when Cucho was suspended. Jesus Christ, that was a nightmare.
When Cucho was suspended,
Blake, yeah, we are. We're old as hell. Yeah, we are.
When Cucho was suspended, I can't.
Oh my God.
Ty can probably tell you this, Derek, though, but I almost wanted to stop writing and covering the crew until he came back, because between Brianna from the Dispatch getting hit up, me, Ty, everybody else that crazy. People know that are on the crew that cover the crew, we're getting questions like, what's going on with Kucha? Why, and it's just like y'all chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Y'all
we didn't even play terrible without him, did we? I mean, I thought we're like decent. I mean, we were tying some games, like nothing was too crazy. Where my thought was always it was the early in the season, so as long as it isn't some long-term thing, let it play out.
I can tell you how we did without Cujo. Accept and continue 2024. Okay, so also let's remember last year we started the season without the regular referees.
Oh, that was just absolutely brutal.
Let's just think about that for a second. Okay?
I don't want to think about it. I don't even want to remember those times.
It was bad when diehard MLS fans that hate pro was chanting, "We want pro."
Oh,
yeah.
I thought I don't remember that first or second game, the home game, where the refereeing was just so out of control that I thought there was going to be a mutiny by the end of the game. I'm like, they may have to stop the game and just let everybody disperse, because the people in the Nordic were so mad. It was crazy.
Oh, I bet it was the first game, Atlanta United. It was I bet it was the game that, because Farsi got taken down.
Was it in the box or something like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a PK.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted a card, but the referee didn't give one. I remember that. Now the Charlotte match is where all hell broke loose. Because I can't remember who I was talking to or who we were talking to, but They
we were on a watch along.
Yeah, but I can't remember who said something. It was like, we knew it was going to be crazy when we had to restart twice.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. That was also,
Yeah.
I think I was watching it like muted. Like, I don't remember if I was at home or at a bar watching on my phone, whatever was going on. It was muted, and I just kept looking at it, going, "What is happening? Like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?"
Yeah, that was absolutely horrible.
Now,
Okay,
you know it's bad when we're sitting here saying we want Serge Boyko back.
Sergey Boyko.
Yeah.
And Ted Uncle back.
Oh,
look. By
that's
the way,
like the ultimate bad.
By the way, did you guys know that he retired?
Yep.
Yes. Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
All right.
It's just the best news of whatever day that was.
So, without Cucho Hernandez, 2-2 against Nashville, 1-1 against Tigres. Cucho Hernandez comes back against DC United, gets a red card.
That's right.
I think he played in this game. 1-1 against Tigres. We win 4-3 on penalties. He missed the Salt Lake game because of the red card. And then we had 2-2 against Portland when he came back.
Look, we're getting the points.
So we were getting points, but we weren't getting wins. And I remember that DC United game, that red card. When Cucho he came back and got a red card, I was like, I thought it was the end. Honestly, I thought it was the end. I thought it was like, well, Cucho's going to be gone soon. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh man, I do not want that to happen ever again. But it was that Charlotte match was just an absolute nightmare.
Brutal.
Oh my God, that was horrible. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because Nancy was supposed to be down there, but
he was sick.
Oh,
and decided the night before not to travel with the team.
Yeah.
So Kwame was the acting head coach.
Yep.
And it just was like the post-game interview. It was like how do you
how can we talk about what happened with Kwame and like what happened? Nothing. We'll talk about what happened. Like, who was he talking to? Was he talking to a player? Was he talking to a coach? And I was like, this is not Cucho Hernandez. That is not the Cucho Hernandez I know. And I honestly think it was just frustration from the game. Because that game was so frustrating. Like, that referee had no idea what was happening. Lost all sense of control. Derek Jones ended up getting a red card. We had Fudge. Who was it? Rudy Camacho and somebody else get taken off within the first 10 minutes due to injury.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Jones.
It was like end the game, just forfeit the game. Just take the loss and move on. It was too much.
It was Christian. It was Ramirez.
Yep, it was
gets taken off. Rudy got taken off
first, and then Rudy.
Due to injury because they're playing on turf. Derek Jones comes in, gets a red card. We give up a PK in the 60 in the 45 plus 15th minute of first half stoppage time. Dude freaking shanks it, and then we get a goal get taken back because this little bird eye from planet Mars,
my gosh,
decides that Max Arson was offside.
Yeah, the camera wasn't aligned. That was like, what a game! The sheer amount of stuff that you could like pick from that and be like, guess what happened here? And then this happened, and then this happened, and you'd be like, that's like a video game. There's no way that actually all happened. And you're like, yeah, all of it. A camera was fixed in the corner of the stadium, and that's what they saw. And so it was like the opposite end also.
Yeah.
It was like, Max Arson's offside. Where do you see offside at?
That's like the camera angle they use as they're showing like a bunch of pregame stats, and they just need like something in the background of the stat graphic. And
it's called the beauty shot. Or the beauty camera. What the fuck it is. Anyway, back to Marina. He joined Columbus in December 22nd, 2023. made his debut versus Houston in the Champions Cup first leg, made 16 appearances, 2 starts, and scored 2 goals. Now, Derik, I know you are excited to talk about this.
Oh gosh, yes.
I know Jerald's excited to talk about this also. I think all of Crew fans are excited to talk about this. Federico Higuain, Pipa, is back in Columbus as the Columbus Crew 2 head coach.
I can't believe it.
I free for all. Just have at it. What do we think, boys?
So I'm gonna take this one. Me and you talk, Ty.
This is his like bread and butter, by the way, Derik. He loves cat. He loves the Cappies.
You got me onto him. How I got my start doing journalism. So
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
It was one of those when we heard Kelvin Jones wasn't coming back, that he had left to take another position elsewhere. Come to find out, he's an assistant on the first team with San Diego. But me and you talked, though, Ty, and was like, they should go get Pipa. And, and it was one of those, it was like, we haven't been to, they have, the team hasn't reported back yet, so we can't sit down with, the people at training and everything. But it was like, it felt like it was it was time. Pipa has his Class B license, so I mean, and then he just needed to have that coaching experience. And for me, his Inter Miami 2 team last year, they overachieved. And the reason I say they overachieved, yes, he's great at developing the players, but that team was at least a year or 2 away from being competitive. And, they finished 3rd in the league, in Next Pro, had the most tied. They were in the top 5, I believe, for goals scored and top 5 for goals allowed. So, I mean, they were up there, you know what I'm saying? And it just is only fitting that you bring back a Crew legend. To me, that's shown that he can develop players. Just, in the short time that he's been the head coach there for Inter Miami 2, they were dead last one year. Almost. And to bring them back from dead last to their first playoff berth since Next Pro started in 2022 and having some of the stats that they did, you could see his development. But like I said, they overachieved a little bit. Now you bring him back to an organization that he's familiar with. I still think he should still, have a cup, but we're not going to get into that one. And I still think that he should be in the Ring of Honor.
100%.
But it just shows the all for one team mentality, and he displays that. And he knows what this organization, this club means to the city of Columbus and to the fans, and what it means, honestly, to MLS. So I'm very, they were talking about it today at training, and I'm like, what's Higuain, what's Pipa's name being thrown around? And I happened to see Brianna's post on Twitter, like it was confirmed. I'm like, oh shit. Like it came true. Like, and not taking away anything from Kelvin Jones, but you have now, this would be the 3rd head coach for Crew 2. And you've had 3 great player developers. Laurent Courtois, Kelvin Jones was with the academy and watched some of those players come up through the academy to Next Pro. And now you bring in Pipa. So, I mean, the man is truly black and gold.
He should be in the what was it, the Ring of Honor, Circle of Honor? I forget what the heck they're calling it, but
Ring of Honor, yeah.
Ring of Honor, 100%. I know they saved that for people who have won MLS Cup or some kind of trophy or championship. But if there's anybody who, in my mind at least, should be in there without those types of qualifications, it is 1,000,000% him. Like, navigated through them. He was with them through everything, pre Save the Crew, during Save the Crew. I can't remember. I think he was maybe a year after Save the Crew. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember exactly when his contract was up, but that whole time frame, I mean, just the best. I don't know, totally like my favorite Crew player ever. Like, when I heard that, I could not, of course, like, I didn't realize that he was not still with Miami. I don't know how those contracts run for coaches down there, so I didn't really think that was going to be a possibility. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be at all the games. Hopefully now they can like advertise him more and everything. Like, before, I remember he would come over to like the Nordic and stuff when Miami was in town and that type of thing, but they wouldn't do a ton of like pomp and circumstance, but like have him break through the wall, the brick wall, the match igniter. I want the whole thing. I want him to get all of the accolades that I think he deserved. And I know we did do like a T-phone stuff for him when the first time he came back and all that, but like, to be back in the fold and developing these players, I mean, I think someone like that, as good as he was as a player, like, to have, we've seen before Crew 2 players be able to come up and acclimate really well to the first team, to have the potential of someone like that to help bring people up even more is just remarkable.
And to be fair, nobody knows what any contracts are down there in Miami, whether it's staff or player.
Right. On any level, it sounds like then.
And honestly, Pipa's retirement, when he signed the 1 day, that was honestly my first ever covering the first team. And it was against Nashville because they had a pregame conference up in the press box with Pipa up there before the game. I still have the video on my phone of him, and being there at that pregame conference, and then watching him, come out on the field, was getting his jersey, and then seeing the tifo come up with Maestro on it. I mean, this actually will probably sell more Cappy tickets.
Oh, I think so. 100%.
I believe it.
As soon as I saw that news, I thought, I'm going to go to way more games this year now, just because of that, because of a coach, which probably seems crazy to say, but like, he was like my favorite player. I'm like, I have to go and support him, even though he's not going to be out there playing. Like, I still want to be out there and see him.
But like MLS Gone Wild said, where'd he go? There it goes. The hiring of Pipa Crew 2 has turned MLS Next Pro head coaches into MLS coaches. Laurent with Montreal, Kelvin Jones as a first team assistant at San Diego, and I mean, it's you come to Columbus, you're as a coach or as a player, you're gonna get pushed to the first team.
Yeah,
and you have success there with the Next Pro team. I'm sorry, but it's going to be one of those where we hate to lose you, but we're not going to hold you back.
You're going to get those opportunities you're looking for,
and it's home.
Yeah.
Federico embodies the values of our club, and we're thrilled to welcome him back to Columbus as the next head coach for Crew 2. People understands the crucial role Crew 2 plays within our developmental pathway, and we are aligned in our commitment to identifying and fostering young talent. The vast experience he gained as a player, coupled with his recent coaching experience with Inter Miami CF and MLS Next Pro, make him a great fit for the role. People understands what it takes to go through an academy pathway. We are excited for him to make his mark on this group of young players. General Manager Issa Tall said. Now, on the same topic of Pipa and Crew 2, Columbus Crew 2 have also released their 2025 schedule. If you give me 1 second here, I will pull it up.
I'm
Just
excited.
need to take a quick screenshot. Come back in here. Wait, nope, there it is. Overlay. And here is the schedule. It's uploading. There we go. 2025 Crew 2 schedule. Start off on the road at Orlando City B. April 13th at FC Cincinnati 2. They will play FC Cincinnati 2 May 18th. At Inter Miami, June 15th. Pipa back in his old stomping ground. Face off against Inter Miami CF September 7th. I mean, obviously, heck is plausible. I was about to say hell is real. Heck is plausible are a couple of matches to look out for. Obviously, the return to Miami for Pipa. Any other like games stick out to you guys looking at the schedule? If you had to choose one, I'd say
the New England Revolution at 3 p.m. is on a Saturday, isn't it? July 5th.
July
I think the 4th's on a Friday.
Yes.
That's very nice. I'm glad they did that.
Because Crew is in Seattle that weekend. That game's on a Sunday, July 6th.
Oh, that's pretty. See, I love that.
I'll be there.
Also love that.
I'm catching Amtrak out there from Chicago.
Oh,
yeah, it's a great time.
Great time. DC United 2 is not on there this year.
Does DC United have a second team?
I believe they do.
Huntsville is Nashville.
I was literally just wondering who Huntsville was.
That is Nashville's.
Because there's a Chattanooga FC.
That was a USL team that came up to Next Pro. Same thing with Carolina Core.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And we get them at home this year. I'm excited for that.
The Carolina one?
Yeah, because last year was their first year in the league, and we played them down there in I think it's down. It's in Charlotte, I believe, somewhere around that right around that area. So I like their kits. Their kits are cool. But I love to see them get up here. One thing I would love for Next Pro to do is cut down on the Eastern Conference games and bring in some of the Western Conference teams as well. Because you're playing everybody in the Eastern Conference at least 3 times a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And like the Eastern Conference teams don't get to experience playing up against the Western Conference teams until Next Pro Cup final.
Wow.
So I think, Next Pro should, go to like MLS to where you're getting, maybe 8 games. 8 games against Western Conference teams.
You think it's tied to how they did the agreement where a lot of them have they fly on, charter planes and stuff like that. Do you think it has travel implications and the teams having to pay for it?
I mean, Crew 2 flies whenever they leave. They fly on, the cruise plane.
Oh, do they?
And they have buses.
Yeah, you would think it wouldn't be that difficult, or at least get somewhere into the middle of America to some of these teams versus strictly the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one of those. Then you get to see what instead of watching highlights on film, you get to have that experience playing up against them. they don't see some of the stars until they play in the during the All-Star week, honestly. You know, they play in that pickup game pretty much, you know, during All-Star week. So I mean, I would love for next pro to expand on that, to cut down on conference games and go to like 8 Western Conference teams, you know, a year. Or even make it 6.
Yeah. Something where you get a little bit of it at least. We're not asking for much here, MLS.
We're asking for a lot. Damn it.
Hey, I mean, we're the charter member of MLS, so we can ask what the hell we want.
We want a good Hernandez contract extension.
Did you see? Not to sidetrack it, but I saw Michael Aris put off article at the Dispatch and mentioned it. We mentioned it last week, and he also mentioned wondering aloud if it was tied to the Deshaun Watson deal.
Really?
Like, I do not want now. Like, it's more and more people are bringing it up. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It's all under HSG.
I know you said that, and I'm like, no, please be wrong.
I will not subscribe to the Dispatch. I don't know why. I just will not subscribe to the Dispatch.
Oh, I just use the free. Whenever I have the 3 free articles, I have to pick and choose. It's got to really draw me in, or if it's like a crew-related one with something I think might be in it, I'll click the free one. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, Brianna's articles. You know, she covers the for the Dispatch, the Crew, and OSU Women's. Mm-hmm. She's got some good articles. Those are free.
Oh, so there's like a
a lot of hers are behind paywalls.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought they all were. I had no idea.
Like major feature stories are behind paywalls. So, you know what's not behind the paywall?
The Wisemen Say podcast
and the Wisemen Say podcast.
That's true.
We are not behind the paywall. Anything else crew related before? Donations? Yeah. Anything else crew related before we move on to our yellow card, red card of the week?
Nico Hagen it was his right.
Was it finally confirmed? His right? Was it his right?
Confirmed and unconfirmed.
I can neither confirm nor deny that Nico Hagen had a broken finger on his right arm.
No, there was no denial, but it was said the right. Everybody was ecstatic. Well,
everybody's ecstatic. Everybody was ecstatic.
Not about that, but at training today, everybody had a very great attitude. Talked with Max, and that was. I had the last question of the day, and the question, as everybody could go to our YouTube page and see the media developers.
No, it's not up.
There should be.
Something happened. I was looking at it earlier. Something happened. It said that there was a problem processing.
I'll get that fixed. But I asked Max, I said, how much motivation do you get from going from pretty much a nobody, not having a draft picture, to being a household name now? And
my God.
Didn't give him a draft picture?
No,
no, man.
And he laughed. He was like, that's funny. He's like, when everything happened, he's like, it's super motivating to me. He's like, they didn't have a draft picture of me, and it just motivated me to say, okay, watch this. And he finds it funny because people ask him all the time, about it. And the fact that, it motivated him to be like he was last year. He had, I think what I pulled up the stat, it was like 4 goals and 8 assists last season.
Yeah.
And MLS play. So, and it's just like, where do you, the motivation to get those? And we saw it on display when he got to start there in Real Salt Lake, and just hearing him talking, people, ask him all the time, and he laughs, and he even says he finds it funny, and it's just like, really, how did y'all not find a picture of me? Like, I got my college picture, I got, this, that, and the third, but you can't pull, so it's to go from a no name, person. And he even talked about how the announcer on, he said he was watching the draft and it was like they didn't even know who he was. And and it was like, okay, I heard, I remember hearing his name and looked up videos, and I'm telling Ty, like, bruh, we just got to steal in the first round. And to watch him now, it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Pick number 14 in the 2023 MLS Super Draft.
Yeah. And that was Nazi's first draft class, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was Patrick,
Max, Brady Scott.
Somebody else too. I can't remember who it
was. Holstead.
That's who it was. Yep.
Clay, the brick wall Holstead.
Moving on. Last segment. Anybody have a yellow card, red card of the week? Derek, do you remember what a yellow card is?
Yes. Something we do not like, but we will stand.
Okay. Red card?
Red card, get rid of it forever.
All right. Do we have one?
I'll go.
Okay. First. All right. There we go.
Yellow card is probably a topic for another day, but these kit releases for MLS, they wait until a week before the season starts to officially release them. Although there's leaks, I have a sick obsession with looking at everybody's leaks and watching footy headlines or whatever and seeing what all comes out. But you look at the releases for the Premier League and those, and you can get them 6 months in advance before the season starts most of the time, or way in advance so that you have them for the normal season. But if you're a Crew fan or any other fan, they put them in the team shop days before the game. And if you don't drive down there and get one in the middle of Tuesday afternoon, you try to beat the rush to get into the first game if you want one really bad. I end up buying a new jersey every year, which is probably a waste. I probably don't need to do that, but I do it anyway. So I have 1 million of them in my closet. But it drives me crazy how we cannot get these out sooner. And so I get that it's a production thing and stuff, but at the same time, I do not love it. I despise it.
Do you like the leak of the supposedly new kit for the Crew?
I didn't dislike it. I also know it's what's the lesser of the two, a replica?
Yeah.
So I get that the replica ones are always a little bit, there's a little bit there to be desired, but then usually there's a little more flashiness to the official authentic one. So jury's out, but I like that it's more unique. I'll say that it's something a little bit different. Everybody hated the Charlie Brown ones, and now I see most people are like, I like the Charlie Brown ones. Yeah. I never had a problem with it. I thought it was kind of a random idea. They probably didn't think about it that way, but I think it grew on everyone by the end of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It grew on everybody. Even the Crew were even running.
They were running, yeah, they were running with it and doing different stuff. I thought that was great.
When I went to Minnesota for Crew Minnesota last year, the Crew took the field for warm-ups and they started playing the Charlie Brown theme song. I was like, good on you, Minnesota.
Hey,
I'll take it.
That's as long as we're not literally missing the ball, shooting PKs or something, I'm totally okay with it. That's a little too into the theme if we're starting to do that. So otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then the red card would be the city for replacing all. This happened a few months ago, but now it's really becoming an issue for me. They replaced all of the trash cans in our neighborhood with new ones. And my neighbor and I have ours like in this back alley because we are right on a street that's like really populated, but we're the only two in the entire neighborhood that didn't get new ones. And so mine has now gotten to the point where it just gets thrown around once they empty it out every Monday. And if the handle is like broke, one of the handle pieces gone. So now I have one handle to lug this big thing down through like snow and stuff. And it is so close to falling off along with the lid that it doesn't stay shut when you pull it. Like it's literally probably a week or two away from just ripping off. But when I contact the city through the whatever number they have you contact, I get no response. So eventually I'm just going to like have a trash can with no lid and no way to drag it from point A to point B without like literally attaching my own 2x4 on it or something like that. So
just put a
red card. I'm going to have to. I'm going to literally like fix a dolly onto it and just constantly wheeling it out there. Everyone's going to look like I'm crazy. And I'm going to say, this is the city's fault. How dare you?
Do you have a wheelbarrow?
I don't have anywhere to store a wheelbarrow. I live in like an old house that's very narrow, and we have like a basement dungeon, which I'm not dragging a wheelbarrow in and out of that. And we've got like a tiny little shed. Oh yeah, it's like there's no way it would even get down there. And we have like a little shed that can fit a lawnmower, one that kind of folds up, and that's about it. So this is first world problems, I know, but I had to deal with it earlier this week with ice, and it just like really ate at me while I was doing it.
Jesus. Jerald?
So I have a yellow card, no red card today, which is surprising. But real quick before I get in mine, as far as the kit goes,
oh yeah,
if it is if it is what they say as far as interacts with UV lights, if they're gonna wear it at a home game at nighttime, drop the UV lights, turn off the regular stadium lights, and play with UV lights.
That would be so cool.
I can just imagine a bunch of like little specks running around the pitch.
But I mean, it'd be like galactic, galactic soccer, or something like that. But if you're gonna do something like that, have the UV stadium.
You gotta go all in. You gotta go all in to the gimmick. Absolutely.
So I mean, it's one of those like, if you're gonna do that, give me the UV lights at the game, which I think would be cool to see a game with. Played underneath the, black light. But my yellow card is Ohio weather.
Yep.
Like, the past 3 days that the crew has been able to train outside of the bubble. They've been literally training outside the last 3 days since they've been back from California. So
good.
Yeah, I love it. But at the same time, we all know this is the false spring, for Ohio. So it's just one of those where it's like Ohio weather knows that Christmas is coming up. So you want to get all your hopes up and everything for, going into February. And then, who's to say, it decides to be like, what's it say?
Because what the fuck is this? How do we go from 39 to 52?
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So, I mean,
what is this?
It's, Ohio weather is something I don't like, but, we have to deal with it because we live here in Ohio for now.
Keep the shorts inside. Resist the temptation. It will get cold again. The shorts and sweatshirt weather is not here yet.
Listen, it was okay for me when I left the house. I had a hoodie on, but standing out there at training, that wind started blowing around and it hit my back, and I started shaking harder than a stripper at Magic City.
You wear shorts to training today?
I didn't wear shorts. I wore my hoodie.
Could have sworn you said it wasn't bad for me because I wore my shorts and my hoodie.
No, I said I wore my hoodie. I said it wasn't bad for me that I wore my hoodie.
When the sun's out, it's not too bad.
Yeah,
when the sun's out, it's great.
I got the training, though, that wind was hitting my back, and I started shaking harder than a stripper at Magic City. So I mean it, and I was standing directly in the sunlight too.
Ugh.
And the sun wasn't warming me up. So I mean, that's my yellow card. Hell, I can't think of a red card.
I would say for me, my yellow card would have to be see, nothing really happened except for me being sick. I'd have to say that would be my yellow card. I have bad allergies. So when the weather changes, like I was super cold last week and then it started to be a little bit better, took me out. Like I think I told you guys off air that I had like a temperature of 101.3 on Saturday heading into Sunday. I was down for the count. I should probably say I'm still a little bit congested because fuck. But that'd have to be my yellow card is just the freaking weather and me being sick. Because like it happens a lot, so I don't really care. My yellow card would have to be this guy.
You're red?
Yeah. Sorry, my red card would have to be this guy. Because he swears that I'm too old to play Apex. I play with my buddies a lot. So my red card would have to be this guy. And I'm gonna put him in timeout next time from typing in the chat. He's also an Arsenal fan.
Oh,
absolutely horrible.
Go figure.
Poor guy needs to choose a better EPL team. Jesus Christ.
So do we.
Look, man, I've been stuck with this team for about 15 years. I've been stuck as a Man U fan for 15 years. It's like I've been stuck with the Crew for 16 years. Look, it's like I can't just turn my back on them now. Who am I going to support? City? No, because they have 115 charges against them. I said City, and Siri pops up like I'm talking to her. Like, what the hell? I'm not supporting City. Who am I going to Liverpool? Nope.
Aston.
I'm sorry, Derek. You lost me there. You lost me there.
Liverpool
Villa, Aston Villa. Okay, I can support the villains. They're cool. I like them when they came to Columbus. I can't just back off of Man U just because we absolutely are shite, man. It's I watch them every week. I like to torture myself, I guess.
I do too.
But yeah, that Connor would be my record. He said I won't put him in timeout. Like I'm not hovering over the put user in timeout button right now.
Southampton.
I'm sorry. I like if I want to support a relegation battle team, I'm still supporting Man United.
Or Luton Town.
Luton's in the championship. At least they're good to watch in the championship. Anything else, boys, before we hop off and I get to editing this podcast?
Christmas is coming up, and God, I can't wait to see a revamped Chicago and Columbus take go to battle.
It'll be fun.
Can we finally get a mustard versus ketchup?
Oh. No.
Oh, they're gonna wear the new kits, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Then give me the black light. Then if we're gonna do that, give me the black light.
Yeah, it's night. Yeah, that's right. It's a night game. We're all gonna be freezing, so we might as well give us a little something to take our minds off it.
And the new Christmas hat better be able to react with black light.
Ooh, now we are talking. I should have worn it. I do have the Minion hat.
I gave my mom.
Yep.
Derek, anything to add?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Connor says, "What about Spurs?" The only way you would get me to like Spurs is if they just clone a bunch of Sunnies. I like Sunny. That's about it. Josh says, great show, boys. Enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Josh. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Turn on post notifications. It will notify you whenever we go live and whenever we upload new content. Thank y'all for tuning in. Yeah.
Josh, spread the word over there in Scotland. Get more people to tune in.
Yeah.
Preferably more Celtic people, please. No, I'm joking. If you guys haven't already, click. Go ahead.
We're about to get canceled now over in Scotland.
That's crazy. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check us out on social media at the Wiseman Say Podcast, on Instagram at the Wiseman Say Podcast, here on YouTube, and on X at Wiseman Pod. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Fisher Tyler __. You guys can follow Derik on Twitter
at Funky Moses 17. You
guys can follow Jerald on Twitter.
Jerald _Lucas 96.
And be sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button here on YouTube. Share it out with your friends, family. Every little bit of support helps. Be sure to check out the listener support link in our link tree. Any penny that gets thrown our way gets put back into the show for travel, gas, food, road trips that we will take this year to cover the crew and bring you guys content from the road. If you guys haven't already, check that out. Be sure to also check us out wherever you guys get your podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart. I can't remember what the other two are down here. I'm not going to lie to you. Or you guys can watch us on YouTube, Spotify, and Goals TV. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. The boys will be manning the show next week. I have training at Top Golf. I just got hired there, so I will have a training class from 5 to 11 p.m. I should be back the following week. So if you guys haven't already, again, give those guys a follow on Twitter. And that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good one. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. Hug your loved ones. Go Crew, as tradition goes. Jerald Wiseman say.
Only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good weekend. We will see y'all next week.
Stay wise, y'all.